You see, I left my hair dryer on the side of the tub, and in about 20 seconds, Frank is going to reach for the soap, knocking the hair dryer in and electrifying the water, leaving me without a husband and my family without any financial support.
To go when you're on the go? Try Pet and Play, a dog sitting service that loves your dogs almost as much as
Fiction? Romance? Comedy? How about all the...
What would you get if you squeezed the refreshing flavor of an orange?
Whether it be a simple slip on the driveway, medical malpractice that leaves part of your body mangled and deformed.
So Buffet Infinity is one of the most weird, funny analog horror things I've seen so far. It's basically kind of like the movie version of oops, all ads. And the premise is that you're watching this local station for this small Canadian town of Westridge, and it basically asks the question, what if your targeted ads can get even more targeted? The story of this unfolding cosmic horror gets told to you exclusively in these ad snippets from local businesses and also news segments. If I had to directly compare it to something, I would say probably unedited footage of a bear, but it also takes a lot of visual cues from things like Local 58, which I think really just takes a lot of visual cues from local news. But I do think that Buffet Infinity really gets to stand on its own two legs, both visually and also just story-wise. It really commits to this kind of eyesore design language of very bad ads and news, and it works to sell you that you just kind of tune into this local channel at 2 a.m. when you're on holiday. Well, let's talk about Westridge. There's this sinkhole that opened up near Highway 1 and everybody has been throwing garbage into it. That's actually probably the singular most realistic thing in this movie. And there's just a lot of local businesses there. First up is Jenny. She owns a sandwich shop which she chooses to spell like this for some reason. Her sandwiches have her secret sauce that's from her Italian grandmother.
We're the only restaurant that offers the Avery family secret sauce, dating back nearly 100 years to my grandmother in Italy.
And the thinnest, most untoasted bread in existence. They cost $14, which sounds kind of okay, I think, in modern times, but you have to remember this movie takes place in the 90s, so if we say that this was $14 in 1995, that is almost $27 for a sandwich where you don't even get a side or a drink. And that is crazy to me. These aren't special sandwiches, by the way. These are normal sandwiches. I was really confused that she had managed to sustain business so long in a small town for fucking $27 sandwiches. But never mind about that.
Oh, but I add one more thing.
She's got the sauce.
She's got the sauce.
She's got the sauce.
She's got the sauce.
Second is mostly Rosen, attorney at law.
I'm the tough, smart lawyer with my own personal history with trauma.
This is a man who knows the law. This is a man who borrows a random child that looks nothing like him for an ad, like those influencers that pose in front of Maseratis that aren't theirs. But most importantly, this is a man who knows pain.
If you're in pain, call me, Mosley Rosen. I know pain.
Number 3 is Westridge Society for Religious Freedom. This is kind of less of a business and more of a local cult/fringe religious group that believes in something called cryptonumerology that lets you contact people past dimensions. They also host events for local celebrity sci-fi author, martial artist, and foot fetishist Langdon P. Hershey. The first time we see Hershey, the film nestles him inside a cluster of actual famous authors, and I genuinely panicked because I was like, oh my god, I recognize 4 out of 5 of these people, but who's this last guy? Forgetting I was watching a fictional film. I think this panic was really exacerbated by the fact that within the first few seconds of the first video I ever uploaded onto YouTube, I had said the wrong Bronte sister's name. I am so sorry, Emily Bronte. Anyway, number 4, Ahmed's Pawn Shop.
Come on down to Ahmed's Pawn, you know that it's iconic. If you like instruments or used electronics, all the inventory here is of the Come to Ahmed's Pond or kiss my...
Uh-oh, she said no. Now I'm selling my wedding ring.
Here's some money, brother. Sure to make you sing. Even though she didn't return your affection. Come to Ahmed's pawn shop. I don't ask.
Okay, this is basically just the pawn shop. That's just Ahmed and Brandon, and they have a Yamaha keyboard drum machine. And I love these guys. I love these guys so much. The film has really good and fun music, but my favorite is these like cheesy raps that they do. They're so good. They're the best. They're my favorite. Number 5, Westridge Automotive Group. Okay, so I'm going to be so honest, I do not care for this guy. If he had died on screen, I think that would have improved the movie. He's basically one of those guys that do really bad green screen ads where you can still see this very thick rim of green around him. And you're probably saying, hey, that sounds really fun. And it like should be. It really should be, but it's not. Because all his ads are about him beating up this skull guy, and the choreography is just so sad. He irritates me in a way that I'm just simply not interested in examining, but I do like this bit.
Soon all will know my suffering. Uh-oh. Oh no, my dignity.
If there's one thing I hate, it's dishonest, unfair, high-pressure sales tactics. For super deals at super low prices.
There's also a bunch of other ads involved, like there's this deeply depressed pharmaceutical ad guy who struggles with body image, impulsive eating, and low self-esteem. I think that automatically makes him the most relatable character, as well as this insurance lady who's one of those... Okay, you know one of those horrifying ads about workplace safety?
I'm the sous chef here. With any luck, I should be head chef by next year. I've got this amazing fiancé, who I won't be marrying this weekend. Because I'm about to be in a terrible accident. But really, I should have cleaned up the grease over there, and they should never put the deep fryer so close.
Yeah, that's her.
Whether my famous beef stroganoff will still be warm by the time I make it to the potluck. What I'm not thinking about is road conditions, oncoming traffic, and certainly not my car insurance payments. Something like this could really affect my premiums.
Last but not least, we have the star of the show.
Just hanging around. You guys feel like doing something fun tonight?
The hot new buffet that just opened up in the Crossroads Shopping Center right next to the Highway 1 sinkhole. I'm going to be calling them BI for the rest of the video because I have found out that it's actually a real mouthful to say Buffet Infinity all the time. Their very first commercial looks worse than everything else somehow.
In an ever-expanding universe of flavor, do you ever feel like you've seen it all? Welcome to Buffet Infinity.
It looks like they have 2 pixels per frame and then it got deep fried. The voice actor for BI's ads is high-key the highlight of the film for me. I really enjoy the kind of choices that he makes with the ad. In the first ad, he delivers the line so lethargically. It's so funny to me.
Yum yum beef tacos.
Despite this, they really improve the quality of their ads and they grow really fast, overtaking their neighbors, Pet and Play and Brooks Electronics. The amount of offerings also expand over time. Like for $10.99, they're offering Jamaican mahi mahi and hibachi. That is $3 less from a single sandwich that you're getting from Jenny.
And a menu that's growing every day. Just off Highway 1, Buffet Infinity.
You don't even see their staff, which is really good for socially awkward people, because the staff are just like too busy to be seen. You don't have to see them. And you don't even have to tip them, which means they're getting paid like decently, right? So that's good. So, our favorite overpriced sandwich maker, Jenny, releases a new ad, and it's of this couple and they're having this date. It's like black and white, it's kind of cute and romantic. She's one of the few businesses that actually have ads that look like they cost more than $5 to make, probably because she's upcharging her sandwiches so much. And she says that unlike some other places, her sandwiches don't need a million options. And when she says this, there's this weird humming sound in the audio, and maybe she should worry about the quality of her audio before she vagues other local businesses. But it might not be her fault, because after that, like the car guy, there's an ad and the sound is still there and he has to clean his ears to get rid of it. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about him more than I have to. Anyway, the thing is, after this ad comes on, BI decides to kind of steal her ad.
Right place for a night on the town? Come see the stars in her eyes, as well as in her various other reassuring reflective surfaces. At Buffet Infinity, you are someone special to someone. You'll feel even more special to them when you come try out our new special Italian cuisine, including meatballs, spaghetti with meatballs, Italian with fresh bread made daily, just like they do in the old country of Italy. We focus on a lot because we deliver a lot more than just a single type of sandwich sauce. Come and enjoy our intimate fine silverware, polished metal plates, brass doorknobs, reflective enough that you'll be able to see yourself and say, hey, that's me, and I'm with the person that I love the most in the whole world.
They like straight up take her footage and then they start throwing pot shots over it as if they weren't the one that stole it. And like, okay, Jenny technically started this, and I'm not on her side, but on principle, she has to fight back. And fight back she does, prices by $1 whole, and also she adds banana bread to the menu, which expands it by just a little bit, but not too much, unlike some other businesses. Again, she really does need better audio. There's this really weird,
It just goes to show, when you make the right choice, you don't need endless options. Though this Canada Day, we will be including something extra special. Introducing Banana Loaf.
But ignore that sound because BI has a new sandwich sauce that looks very familiar. Jenny decides to fight back with an even bigger sandwich, and BI answers that with,
What lies beyond perfection? Beyond flavor? Beyond imagination? Sanity and control. The new Beyond Comprehension Burger.
Okay, so there's many parts of this movie I love, but the best part to me, hands down, one of my favorite parts is the Beyond Comprehension Burger.
Now here comes the bun, and no more crinkle cut pickles. Okay, we're adding shrimp.
All right. And sprouts? Okay, and rigatoni.
I'm a big fan of comedy that just kind of keeps going, it won't shut the fuck up. The editing of this bit makes it feels like you're tied to train tracks, and the train has already started running over you, and you just kind of have to wait until it's done.
Smoked cheddar. The density has already become noticeable. How many jalapenos? That's how many. Lettuce.
A lot of this movie's stock footage, which I think does add a lot to the humor of it. And in an interview, I think the director even said that there was a cut that was majority stock footage. But I think they decided to film this bit for themselves because it's just way too specific. And I'm just so glad they decided to do that. It just is so fun.
Delicately and carefully about the other products in our burger. Easy does it. Another generous helping of our signature sandwich sauce. Really tasty, but not enough to base your whole personality on it. That'd be pathetic and embarrassing.
Oh my god, I don't think you can say that. I don't think you're allowed to say that even if you're right.
Sauteed portobello mushroom and an over easy egg. Another layer of that sweet sandwich sauce. Very, very similar to other sauces in our area. But all it is Dijon mustard, mayo, a few spices, salt, Worcester sauce, a little ketchup, and cayenne pepper. Wow, that doesn't even sound Italian. What are we going to top it with?
I wouldn't be embarrassed to add a little bit more sandwich
The
sauce.
same way a lot of people aren't embarrassed to make accusations against other businesses when they themselves pretend to be Italian when they have a very obviously Scottish last name.
Oh my god.
We need something to offset the flavor, and we could use that stupid fucking bullshit sauce that's mostly ketchup.
From an inconceivable realm of freshness, an entire galaxy of flavor, squeezed into every single bite. Italian Republic's taste, science, sanity, and control.
And a bowl of our signature sandwich sauce for dipping.
Jenny releases her next ad, and she's in her empty restaurant now that all her sauce groupies are gone, lost probably to the siren call of Buffet Infinity's legally distinct sauce, and also better pricing. It's actually kind of sad hearing her talk about community, especially now that all of it is gone, and especially because it's kind of the last we hear of her before she goes missing.
Business owner Jennifer Avery believes not going
Sauce and dedication to her restaurant. Patrons recall her not just knowing all of her regulars' names.
Beyond death, all I can see is frauds making false claims about the afterlife.
Okay, we kind of need to talk about what the hell is up with the red screens. So these are by the Westridge Society for Religious Freedom, and so basically it's Hershey, it's that writer guy, and he managed to find time in between writing and giving foot massages to reach out to people who can communicate across dimensions through local television ads. After Jenny's disappearance, more and more people start to disappear, and more red screens start to pop up, coincidentally as Buffet Infinity expands, taking over Jenny's sandwich shop.
People go missing, then they're hard to find. Sometimes I wish I'd go missing from time to time.
You'd think that things would be smooth sailing for BI from now on, considering their greatest enemy, Jenny the sandwich maker, is out of the way, but no. People are asking where the staff are because they never see them or whatever, which forces them to release like this.
Here at Buffet Infinity, we're dedicated to giving you the best all-you-can-eat experience possible, as well as keeping your community safe. If you or anyone you know has any information about any disappearances in your area, please contact your local authorities, but also help save yourself. Hypertension and a muffin top. That's right, it's a healthy living celebration at Buffet Infinity, prepared every day by our staff of between 20 and 18 people. Thank the flavor gods for Buffet Infinity, as we pray to our regular Judeo-Christian God for the safe return of troubled Scottish and Ukrainian sandwich shop owner Jennifer Joy Avery. Live healthier. Live happier, and while living beyond death isn't a realistic goal, eating right could be your first steps to living without the aid of substances. A very common contributing factor to a lot of missing person cases. Try our unshelled nuts, cashews anyone, and our delicious, fresh, multi-grain bread. Freshly baked each day, so there's nowhere for the flavor to escape. Unlike the building, which has 1, 2, 3, 4... and now 5 different exits to use at your leisure. After 2 separate third-party investigations, never has it been a safer time to come by, and with that time always moving gradually forward at a steady pace. On behalf of our company, along with our partner Constable Dylan of the County Sheriff's Department, our love to the Avery family. At Buffet Infinity.
Thankfully, other local businesses like Mosley Rosen and the used car guy also come to the defense of BI. In fact, there are these increasing crossover in various ads, where if something is mentioned in one, the rest will start to mention it. Jenny calls 911 and she's basically telling that it's dark and that there's something there with her and not to come for her. And she's screaming the whole time. Don't worry, absolutely nobody's gonna do that. This isn't even a dig at her. She sounds so scared and terrified during this call. But the operator, like the 911 operator, has the fucking gall to ask like why she's calling if she doesn't want anyone to come after her.
What? So you don't want me to send someone? Why are you calling? You don't need to send anybody.
It's like, read the room, dude. No matter what you think about how she prices her sandwiches, she doesn't deserve to be absorbed into a dark dimension with an unknown being. There's also this new trailer.
In a world where what you make makes you. Listen, myself and some friends just started this dumb buffet restaurant, and I happen to be a huge fan of yours, and I just wanted to reach out and let you know that your sauce is really amazing.
You mean to tell me that you've been laundering money through your sandwich business? And you've been doing drugs and alcohol? Listen, I respect you as a woman and a business owner, but this is not okay. This is the mob.
Who does this lady think she is?
Disrespect going unpunished. We gotta show her what it means.
there's this new trailer about Jenny that was released by a studio that is clearly Buffet Infinity. And it's about how she was an addict that used her sandwich shop to launder money. Like, she's not even in this dimension anymore and she's still catching strays. There is a bright side to this, though, because of the sheer amount of people disappearing. There's an influx of new old items, which means there's a lot of good deals at Ahmed's pawn shop and the used car shop. There's also a subplot of Mosley Rosen suing Hershey for producing these like fraudulent religious ads. And it's implied at one point they're old friends. And it's like, it's a whole thing with Mosley's parents. I'm not gonna get into the whole homoerotically charged court case. One point, Hershey writes a new book about
a terrifying tale of a deeply misunderstood author, bankrupt by legal trouble, silenced by a ghoulish and deformed lawyer, with the mind as twisted and strange as his genitals are rumored to be.
And I think if someone said something of that caliber to me, neither of us would be alive anymore.
Sticks and stones may break your bones, but slander and libel are illegal.
All the ads from all the different companies get progressively darker, and with also increased like crossover. Mosley Rosen goes from drinking water to an unidentified brown liquid, which I presume is alcohol. He even appears in just like giant billboard in the insurance ad. Like, weapons keep getting brought up for some reason. The car guy, who I hate, he goes from, you know, like bad cartoon violence to shooting his villain in the head with like an AK-47 like 12 times, which actually did feel quite chilling after seeing him fuck around for the whole film. It did feel like there was like a big step. There's even this new ad for this thing which has like a fucking mouthful of a name. It's the Westridge United for Independent Business Freedom, okay, which includes the Westridge Automotive Group, Mosley Rosen, Ahmed's Pawn Shop, and oh look, Buffet Infinity. A special news broadcast happens where an anonymous source who's like clearly Hershey says that the missing people aren't dead. Also, something not of this dimension is harvesting thoughts. They backlit him to keep him anonymous, but he keeps like turning his head into the light. Before he has a special appearance, he actually created this like ad for this really, really good album. Like I said, the music in this is really good, with song titles as "Its Power Grows with Its Hunger" and "Let My Sacrifice Echo Through the Realms." There is also my favorite song, "Death is Not the End, My Friend." There's also a secret track called "I'm Sorry, Abigail," but you're not really meant to see that. Something has kind of cancelled it out. Anyway, his head explodes on local TV, and not only is he like not surprised by all this, the news also writes it off as like just like a fun new way to die. Like your head can just do that now. They also immediately just start slandering him, saying that he sacrificed his daughter Abigail in a dark ritual, and also refusing to play his tape that his followers sent in, which has, by the way, a banger song. His followers also are like, he's not dead, death is not the end, you know, which is cool. Okay, at this part, I think it's either at a demonstration for the missing people or the memorial for Hershey. I'm kind of unsure, but something happens and they don't show it. And this part, I think, is possibly the most effective bit of horror that we see in the film, because the sound design of the screaming people is actually really, really terrifying. And the fact that we don't actually get to see what's like going on, that also adds to the whole like fear factor of it all.
Many with loved ones that have gone missing in the past several weeks.
Waiting for the emergency crews to arrive right now.
Almost the right time for you.
In the midst of like airing this like chaotic footage, the news is now telling people not to stand near any windows or doors of their house. And then the news does this obligatory analog horror thing where it's saying like, oh, there's an emergency alert from the city council and also various religious groups now. So those two are finally working together. They're saying that you have to go underground where the psychic waves have a lower threshold of power. But it also does this like cliche thing that I'm like, oh man, you were doing so well kind of thing. It does this cliche things where they're like, you're not supposed to trust any further broadcasts from the station or let your family in if you hear them at the door.
Tape secure any area with cracks to the outside with tape. Insulate area which may release ambient sounds from outside with with tape. If any member of your family asks to come inside secure area, do not trust them.
Okay, I feel like the don't trust any further broadcast from this station. That's fine, it makes sense in the greater narrative. But I feel like the part where they're like, don't let anybody in, even if they sound like your family. But it's like, we didn't really have a lot of like doppelganger stuff. I guess it makes sense a little at the end, but I don't know if they felt like they had to do it because it's such a common trope in analog horror at this point. I think the kind of root of the horror here is like a genuine sinister influence over people's opinion, and it feels a little less scary, I think, when it seems to be tricking people with something as obvious as this. I guess it makes sense because at the end it's revealed that a lot of people do get taken over, but it's not like oh, my family lured me outside and then I got taken over. It was more of like well, you'll see. One thing I really did like about the threat that was posed in this movie was the fact that it's not really that much of a physical threat to you if you're not like directly opposing it. It's just kind of there and influencing your mind. Anyway, most people live underground now, but that's not stopping BI, who starts pulling people into the ads. And hey, do you remember when I said that BI's first expansion happened when Pet and Play closed down? It was actually because 5 dogs just kind of happened to go missing. One dog was found, but the others can just, I guess, kick rocks. But that was their first expansion, followed by Brooks Electronics, followed by Jenny's Sandwich Shop. Well, turns out that's all small potatoes because now they're taking over an arcade. They're also taking over the Westridge shopping mall. Just the whole thing, even though they're nowhere near that thing. I'm gonna be honest, there are some parts of the last third that I'm like just not that big of a fan of. They have this great ad about the arcade portion when they're taking over the arcade.
The adult media keeps saying that no one ever even sees them.
Yeah, because they're working so hard. They don't have time to be seen. Want to go?
Oh, hey, what's going on in there?
Well, that's the one area that you should stay out of because it's clearly labeled restricted.
Well, that makes sense.
Stay out of places that you shouldn't be.
Smash, crash, slide, ride, hide, slam, bam. Avoid restricted areas. Into the fun.
And when one of the kids do go into the restricted area, the movie kind of breaks the ad format for one of the first times in favor of something more cinematic. And I think it really works here, but then they just kind of keep doing it, and it starts to feel like they almost don't trust the format to deliver the climax of the story, which I think is a little sad because I think if they could have made it work, it could have been really, really great. I think even just keeping maybe the framing or the logos of some of them would have helped at least a little bit. They also have this thing where Mosley Rosen and Car Guy see bald men without faces in the sky outside. I think the bald man is a little like, okay, yeah, sure. So after everything that the movie has done to kind of stand out with its tone and its own voice, it feels a bit thrown in there. It feels a bit random that like, oh, suddenly this scary thing is happening, but it's like maybe the most kind of common like internet horror kind of scary thing. Like it's very Slender Man or SCP, right? Like I'm scared of bald men too, but I just don't know how they were relevant in the moment. I guess that's the reveal that the car guy's like cheesy evil nemesis was bald the whole time, even though he did get his wig knocked off and there was hair underneath.
Oh my gosh! She's bald! She's bald and she's torturing people who have hair!
I guess that maybe there's that implication where BI was influencing him that way, that they were like planting this bald man into his ad the whole time. But he was kind of already there before BI's first ad, so I'm not very sure about this. Maybe somebody who is better at like theory crafting at me can answer this question. Game theory, help. Anyway, it's revealed that if you can hear sounds in the broadcast by Hershey, you have the ability to do the cryptonumerology thing, which means you can communicate past dimensions. It also means you're susceptible to having your body fucking snatched by Hershey, who has returned beyond dimensions to essentially ruin Brandon's life by taking over his body in an attempt to fight the eldritch being that is his daughter. It turns out it's his daughter who accidentally got absorbed into one of it in one of his experiments. He fails to defeat it and he gets deleted from existence along with Ahmed dying by a screwdriver to the head, which is so sad. Rest in peace to the two best characters of the movie. I will never forget your complete lack of rhythm. The film ends with a big bouncy musical number and everybody's there now that everybody has kind of been absorbed into it. It's very Shrek in a way. I would say it's ironic Shrek, but Shrek is ironic Shrek, so that's fine. So that was fun, right? It's like a fun and weird movie. This movie is about corporate astroturfing. I say it like it's a reveal, but it's actually pretty obvious if you watch the movie. The first time I watched it, I was kind of sick. So I didn't get it right off the bat. I was just like, wow, what a fun, weird movie. Then the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, I'm just stupid. I am just stupid. So do you guys know about this thing called the Walmart effect? It's not something extremely specific. It's more like a bundle of economic impacts that Walmart has on its communities. Often things like edging out local businesses that can't match their low prices. They do this not just by paying their own workers less, but by also squeezing their suppliers so hard that they have to lay off a bunch of people, and then for the people that do remain, they have to lower their wages. They also created and funded their own advocacy group called Working Families for Walmart to go up against unions, and they're still allowed to exist. Isn't that crazy? Buffet Infinity is a really absurd movie, but things like this happen. I mean, like, not all of it, but the general strokes of it does happen. There are just these small details that really sell it, like greenwashing with health foods, or trying to break up the community by appealing to individuality, and the fact that they partnered up with the local police, and also the appeal of going back to your childhood where there are no responsibilities.
May have lost. Eat up, then rest up, and then watch your favorite television shows and movies that you loved growing up. Not as they are now, as they were when they made you feel safe as a child. And then just go a little bit further up on that
The parts where Jenny keeps lowering her prices, or the fact that the villain seems to have been planted by BI long before they moved in, or the Business Freedom Union. There is a part of this after the whole horrible, scary incident that we don't see happens, where they start advertising on the channel of another town, but not as Buffet Infinity, but as this like highly diversified media company that does so many things, including, for the life of me, this thing I cannot read. I have tried to like write it out and like read it. I cannot read it. I've been fairly like decent, I think, in trying to figure out what like the glitched words are, but for the life of me, I cannot read this. If you can read this, comment below, I guess. This is going to be my one and only call to action. Not only are they expanding in like their area of influence, but also what they can influence. For example, Jenny's movie trailer where she's essentially being accused of using drugs and money laundering. It really does remind me of how Amazon started out as a bookstore, and well, it's now the company that made Mercy the movie. They all feel like pretty pointed commentary about how large businesses move into small communities with resources that actual local businesses don't have, and they masquerade as a local business, and they slowly take over and expand in an extremely unsexy way. But I think the ultimate detail that sold me on the fact that this is effective satire of corporate astroturfing, it was appealing to people's desire to not suffer any inconvenience. Why go anywhere else? Why pay any more than you should when you can have everything that you want right here in one place? Why support your local sandwich shop or your local arcade when you can just go to the mega corporation down the street?
Overwhelm your palate with the palate. Because of its spicy ingredients, it can cause pain. And pain can cause suffering. Our wish is to reduce our patrons' suffering as much as possible. And suffering is one order you can't really take back.
I think if you want to be pessimistic about analog horror, you could say that some series have like such an incredible focus on creating scary imagery or scenarios over like writing something coherent. And I don't think that's necessarily like a terrible thing all the time. I think that's a big part of like horror, you know, just seeing something scary. But BI is really fun because it succeeds in those aspects as a horror comedy while also having very compelling themes. I feel like the tone just stands out so much from other analog horrors. I think it's genuinely really, really funny. One thing I do love about this film is that they let you have this sense of normalcy before they get to all the horror stuff. Tone is so incredibly important for like all genre movies, but I think especially for horror. Basically, the effectiveness of your horror is quite dependent on how well you can control the mood and the tone of your own movie. And I think it's doubly important for horror comedy. And I think this movie walks this line pretty well. I feel like sometimes for analog horror, because the structure tends to be it's a short video online, they immediately want to jump into the government broadcast of doppelgangers who steal your teeth or something. And that makes sense because it's a short video. You only have a certain amount of time. And the thing about BI is that they give you a little bit of time to be with these people. You do get a real sense of the people in the town, how people are like, and also how fucking tacky they are. There are so many moments where it's bright and it's loud and it's intentionally goofy, and it's really, really good at mimicking this intentional like awkwardness and humor that a lot of local commerce can have. There's this really stupid recurring bit where the audio doesn't match up to the lips of the actor at all, and it's so stupid, but it keeps getting me.
I'm an a-hole. Why? Because I want what's best for my clients? Well, I'm afraid you messed with the wrong a-hole. I want double our asking price.
Out. Certainly wears out my finances. From lunches to toys to making stroganoff to whatever else might come up.
I mentioned that a good half of the movie stock footage, which really works for comedy sometimes. Like every time they kept showing the staff, I just started laughing. And even some of the horror later, it really works. But the other half being played by real actors who are also really, really good at acting the part of like, I'm a cheesy business owner. Like it gives the narrative a lot of flexibility that such a strange and unique narrative really needs. What I do like about analog horror is that it's usually quite accessible. Like anybody with like a decently good editing software could make one. But I do think having actors just really brings it to the next level. I'm really glad they made that choice. I think the story is actually really incredible because if you tell someone I'm making a horror about like corporate astroturfing, most people are going to be like, that sounds fucking boring. But I think they did it in such a way that was like so entertaining in both the comedy and horror department. So many things were like really well considered. The sound design, the music, the aesthetic, like the graphic designer, whoever did those, oh my god. I know I've mentioned how much I love how like cheesy and 90s they make all their ads look, but I just want to look at the title sequence for a moment. I have no idea how many logos there are in just these few seconds, but I can tell you as someone who has been essentially German suplexed by Adobe Illustrator through multiple tables and ladders, that this took a lot of effort not just to make, but also to just kind of ideate. They're mimicking both real life brands and also some of the fictional businesses in the film, which means they're doing another thing I really love, which is spoiling me from the get-go without me noticing. Ignore this photo of the guy who didn't like musicals here. There's so much effort that gets put into this movie, and I think it really shows. If any of this like interested you at all, there's a lot of fun details layered into this movie that I didn't touch on because I'm like, I don't know where to put this, but it's really well considered. I think you should watch it if you like fun, I guess. Oh yeah, one last thing about Mosley Rosen's genital deformity. His penis is an eye. Yeah.